Hi, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. I'm Dave Abbott with the George Gunn Foundation. It's great to see all of you here, and welcome. This is an auspicious occasion. I do want to reinforce the obvious fact that we have, we hope, some individuals on the line, which is on this cell phone right here on the podium. So any of you speakers who come up here, treat that with great delicacy. And when we're done with our presentations, we'll do questions from any media who are here in the room, and then turn to any media who are on the phone and answer their questions. So let us get started. This is an important event, and I don't think there's anything that illustrates the nature of the work that has led us to today better than the top of the fact sheet that's in the press packet. And I assume most of you have also seen this array of logos at the top of the page really demonstrates the kind of extensive partnership that's at work that has led us to today. And every one of those organizations, without their commitment, and in fact without their very hard work behind the scenes, we would not be able to launch the Partnering for Family Success program. Collaborations always have a challenge embedded in them. They can be very difficult, but it's by working together and bringing various organizations and people and resources together to attack hard problems that success is possible. By breaking barriers and knocking down silos, great things can be accomplished. And that's what this is about. The potential impact of the Partnering for Family Success program is absolutely tremendous for the families and their children who will achieve more stable lives and more successful lives, for the county government, which will learn new ways to be more efficient and more effective in the delivery of service, for all of us, funders and service providers who are always looking for ways to increase the impact of our resources. We will all benefit, and other benefits will also accrue from the Partnering for Family Success program. Before we hear from the various presenters about the program itself, I want to take a minute to just thank the other investors in this program that have joined the George Gunn Foundation in this leap of faith. The Cleveland Foundation has certainly been a key partner in this. They're celebrating their 100th year this year, as I'm sure most of us know, and they've been giving gifts to the community in a series of activities over the course of the year. And while their investment in the Partnering for Family Success program is not one of those, this may in fact prove to be one of the most significant efforts that they make as they conclude their centennial year. And they're the first community foundation anywhere in the country to invest in a pay-for-success model. We're also joined by the Sisters of Charity Foundation of Cleveland, which has invested in this and has been a long-time leader in the efforts to attack homelessness in our community. Along with others, they were a convener of the Housing First initiative, which has been working to provide permanent supportive housing for homeless people, and this really fits right in the sweet spot of their strategy. We also have the Nonprofit Finance Fund, a leading community development financial institution based in New York City. That fund has provided more than $500 million over its life to access to capital and financing for communities around the country. And they are one of the leading voices for the pay-for-success financing mechanism anywhere in the United States. And finally, the Reinvestment Fund. Based in Philadelphia, the fund is the senior investor in our Pay-for-Success program. It's a national leader in financing neighborhood revitalization as it pursues its mission to build wealth in low-wealth people and places. And it has deployed almost $1.5 billion since 1985. We are grateful to all of them for joining us, but I have to take one other moment of personal privilege to say that this long journey that we have been on would not have been possible without the work of my colleague, Marcia Egbert, whose diligence and hard work and determination really got us here. Bob Jaquay and I played supportive roles, but it really has been Marcia's work that made it possible. And it was her vision and her knowledge of this program that brought it to the foundation's attention that led us to then go see then newly elected County Executive Ed Fitzgerald. And Ed's commitment to innovation was an instrumental piece that helped us get this underway and put us on this path. Ed is not able to join us today, But we are joined by David Merriman from the County Executive's Office, who has been knee-deep in this effort, maybe neck-deep in this effort, since it began. So let me ask David to say a few words on behalf of the county.
Thanks a lot, Dave, and thank you all for being here today to celebrate this great occasion with us. I'm here on behalf of Ed, and I know he wanted to be here. He had a conflict that he had to take, but this has been a program that he has tracked from the start. He has supported us at every step, and he has at times argued for the program. At times he's encouraged us, and when things seemed like they were getting knee deep in challenges, he's encouraged us. So Ed is here with us in spirit, even if he couldn't make it here today. And I think it is fitting that Dave took a second to recognize Marcia as he introduced me, because it was in fact Marcia that introduced Cuyahoga County to this concept 3 years ago, a little bit more than 3 years ago. She and Bob scheduled a brief with Ed in his office, and they informed Ed there's a White House convening that's coming up, and we'd like you to go to learn about this innovative solution. And Ed said, I can't make it, but David will go. And I went and I learned about it, and I heard about this amazing new strategy to address human service problems, social problems that in many ways we'd only dreamed about addressing, in a way that we only dreamed about addressing. And I was stunned, and I came back and I told Ed about it, and Ed said, yeah, let's take a look at it. Not only did he say that, he wrote it into the Western Reserve Plan, and he presented it to the community. In fact, he presented it in the largest State of the County address that we'd ever had to that point. And I thought, oh my God, now we got to do this. And we took that opportunity to do what was the most important decision that I believe we could have made in it. We invited the community to help us. This program is founded on public-private partnership principles, where we engage our partners in the communities. These aren't necessarily all new, all old partners. We engage the community and ask them to help us out, help us design a new program that will change the lives of the people it touches. And that has been our position from the start. Dave is right to recognize Marcia and Bob, and as you see, that as the project grew, so did the team. And this is a team effort, and we get to talk about it. We get to be recognized at times for our roles in it. But you should understand that behind each of us is no joke, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 people that has played a role in this. And as I look out and I see Karen Anderson, or as I recognize that Ruth Gillette isn't here today, these are people that have been with us all the way through, and they deserve as much recognition and congratulations as anyone else. The other person that has played just such an important role has been Councilman Dale Miller. And I'm going to ask the councilman to come up to say a little bit about how County Council has supported this project. But first, let me just tell you, it was so important to me when we engaged Dale and we told him about the project, and he began to get up to speed. And he called me at one point and said, hey, David, I'd like to co-sponsor this. I'd like to co-sponsor the legislation. And at that point, what you saw is this was not just an initiative of the executive. This was an initiative of the county. And that co-sponsorship, it turned out to be critical. And Dale's leadership was critical. So if I may, Dale, if you could please come up and say just a few words about County Council and your support of this project.
Thank you very much. It's a real pleasure to be here as part of this this very broad and wonderful team that has put together this very innovative program, the first county project of its kind in the country. And when I came to the new county government in 2011, I came here with the notion that the new county government should not just fix the problems that it inherited, but that we should provide national leadership to be be the best and the most forward thinking, and I think this program is such a good example of that. And the one of the problems that that I just see in government so often is that we see opportunities where we know we could save a lot of money down the line if we could just find the upfront money to get it started. And the pay for success model is a way of dealing with that problem. And I think this is not going to be the only project. This is going to lead to other applications. My role on this was fairly narrow but important. I was fortunate enough to have a background both in finance and in human services, and my role was to take what admittedly is a fairly complex process and explain it well enough to my colleagues at County Council to get enough support to move the program forward, and that consisted of three areas of setting up the financial reporting structure, of providing the initial appropriations and of approving the contract. And over the course of this year, we did all of those things. And the one other place where I played a small role was that I participated in the presentation to the for our lead funding agency. So that was a significant opportunity as well. I just want to close by saying how important the the people at Frontline Services are to this this whole undertaking. They are they are the best in the state at providing services to homeless people, and with their help we are going to take it to a new level and make a difference in people's lives. So again, thank you very much for the opportunity to be part of this program.
Thank you, David and Dale. One of those who is on the team that David mentioned is behind the county leadership every step of the way in this process is Pat Rideout, the director of the Cuyahoga County Department of Children and Family Services. And so, Pat, if we could ask you to say a few words.
Thanks, Dave. Partnering for Family Success aligns beautifully with our mission at DCFS. Our mission is to assure that children at risk of abuse and neglect are nurtured within a family and with the support of their community. Most of our families do have multiple needs, and this is a program that puts targeted resources within reach for these families who, on top of other problems that affect their ability to successfully parent, are also challenged by housing instability. This is a combination which we know to be particularly tough. And so we're just really, really excited to have a chance and an opportunity to truly change the lives of those parents and their kids. We currently have 9 workers already who are whose families are participating in the pilot project, and I have to tell you that each one of them immediately recognized the value and was genuinely excited and enthusiastic about partnering with Frontline and others to strengthen the interventions that we do with the families that we serve. They know, and I know, that it's going to be hard work, but with this enhanced collaboration, with this intensive and spotlighted service that we envision, I'm very confident that our agency, our community, will very soon be celebrating some very positive outcomes with our kids and families. Today, we are noting that there are many potential winners in partnering for family success. but none are greater than these families. The parents and the children who we know are going to safely reunify with one another more quickly and more successfully than in the past, and we couldn't be happier to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. You know, if ever there was a well-named organization, it's Frontline Service, and they are on the front lines delivering the service in this Pay for Success program, interacting with the families and children and expediting the reunification. And with us today is Susan Neff, the Executive Director of Frontline.
Thank you. As Dave said, Frontline Service is a primary partner in Cuyahoga County's Pay for Success initiative. We are a social service agency with a long history of providing innovative care to those in our community who are in crisis. We reach out to those whose challenges are so severe, whose lives appear to be so damaged that traditional services are not enough. We operate the county's emergency shelter for women and children, the largest of its kind in the state of Ohio, and we know that the number of homeless mothers and families is growing. While Frontline and the Division of Children and Family Services have been successful in working with many of these families, there is a small group who need more. Homeless mothers with children in out-of-home placement, children in foster care. We know that one of the most devastating experiences a child can have is being removed from their mother. Regardless the quality of life that that child had with that parent, this can have deep and long-lasting repercussions, especially if that child experiences multiple placements. And unless addressed, this trauma can impact every aspect of a child's development. A child of a homeless mother spends 30% more time in out-of-home placement than those whose mothers are housed. Frontline and our partners understand homelessness. We know that ending homelessness is not simply finding someone a home. It is about addressing the multiple barriers that impact a person's ability to find and sustain permanent housing. Barriers such as unemployment, lack of benefits, untreated mental health issues, substance misuse, compromised daily living skills, chronic physical health conditions. Add to these the dynamic of removing a child from a mother, and we are confronted with issues of acute shame and trauma for both the mother and child, further complicating reunification. Pay for Success made it possible for us to envision and create a service model which we believe will decrease the amount of time that children of homeless mothers spend in out-of-home placement. This service model was not constrained by a predefined budget, as is often the case with a grant. And we were able to think outside of the box and contemplate providing innovative, evidence-based services for beyond the period of a year, which is often the duration of a traditional funding contract. Pay for Success made it possible for us to create a service model which we believe, as clinicians, can end homelessness, address trauma, and create a safe, permanent home for a child, whether through reunification or another safe, permanent housing opportunity. An innovative strategy, Pay for Success, shifts the financial burden, enhances accountability to outcomes, and mandates the use of interventions, services, and supports which maximize the success of those served. Here in Cuyahoga County and in the lives of these children and mothers, change is happening. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. If you're to look at the Pay for Success program in Cuyahoga County in an organizational chart format, it looks something like a spider web, and right in the center of it is Enterprise Community Partners, and the entity that's been created to act as the sort of traffic cop on this effort. And with us today, and I should say hobbling to the podium in his ankle cast, is Mark McDermott, Vice President and Ohio Market Leader for Enterprise. Mark.
Thank you, David. Jeff just said that makes me Spider-Man, which will make Dr. Crampton very jealous. Enterprise is a national nonprofit which for over 30 years has worked in low-income communities across America. And our work is based upon a single premise, and that is when you provide someone with a stable, affordable place to live, no matter what that looks like or where it is, it's a platform for that person to move out of poverty, find other opportunity, and transform their lives. It gives them that power. And we've managed the Housing First program here in Cleveland for over 10 years. David mentioned it. Bringing permanent housing to formerly chronically homeless individuals and families and young people in partnership with Frontline, in partnership with housing providers like Eden Inc. And Famicos. And over 600 folks have received those services, that housing and those services through the Housing First program with only less than a 2% return to homelessness. Amazing results. Which is why we're convinced that this program, Partnering for Success program, can have those same kind of results, because the model is, in fact, improved upon in this case. And which is why we thought it was a perfect fit for us to become in the middle of the spider web. So it's an exciting opportunity to see this work again, to see it work for a most needy population in our county. It's not a huge population, but it's one that really we can't ignore. And that's what's most important about the message that I want to give. We're going to serve in two roles. We're the fiscal manager, we're the program manager. We make sure that the folks who invest, the investors that David mentioned, their money is handled responsibly. We make sure that the investment that goes out to Frontline for the services they provide, to Case Western Reserve for the third-party evaluation that will determine the success payments the county makes, that service is paid for judiciously and those services are delivered, et cetera. We're also the program manager, which means that we have actually the joy of being in the middle of this incredible collection of partners and figuring out solutions to problems as they come up, because there's no program that you try to figure out, especially something as new as this, that doesn't have challenges and problems. And what we know is that the way you figure that kind of stuff out is by everybody being open and transparent and willing to be a partner in whatever way makes sense for them to solve the problem. And this is the right group of people to do that. The last thing I'll say is that what we've already seen is that, because of the pilot already happening, is that this kind of effort starts to create solutions within the community and amongst partners that weren't there before, different ways of working together, different ways of figuring out a problem like, oh, well, geez, that's always been an impediment. And in fact, you know, we could figure out, because we're all here at the table, we could figure out a different way of maybe doing that. That's already happening. And I'm convinced that over the 3 to 5 years of how this program works out, that we're going to find a lot more solutions that are system solutions like that. They're going to make us, it's going to make it easier for us to work together in the future. It's going to make it less expensive for us to work together in the future, and it's going to make it more fun for us to work together in the future. And we need that. Thanks.
Thank you, Mark. Our final presenter is Jeff Patterson, the CEO of the Cuyahoga Metropolitan Housing Authority. It's obvious that the Partnering for Family Success program would not work without a housing component in order to provide the stability that homeless families need in order to be reunified. And CMHA really has bent over backwards to be one of the key partners in this effort and has prioritized referrals from this process in order to make it work and give it the best chance for success. And so representing the housing providers is Jeff Patterson. Let me ask him to come up and say a few words.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's fun following Spider-Man out here, so I don't know what hero I could be, but you know, we'll see. First, I want to just thank everyone for allowing CMHA to have the opportunity to be a partner in this outstanding program. We're very excited about it. You know, we serve over 55,000 residents across Cuyahoga County. And one of our most recent missions has become, over the last 3 to 4 years, to really have more of a focus on what I call purpose-driven housing initiatives. Housing initiatives that we can work on with targeted persons within a society to be able to really try to have impact. I want to thank our Director of Development, Donovan Duncan. He did an outstanding job in working with everyone on this project. Our Director of Marketing Communications, Courtney Kilberry, worked very hard to try to mobilize and get this initiative out. But I also probably want to highlight more than anything the work that Marcia and Mr. Merriman did in terms of reaching out to CMHA, coming to the meetings, listening to how our process works, and working with us to try to find a way to we can serve this volatile and very important group of society. And I love to see all the partners together. I love to see that list of names of different groups. And my only wish, I think, as we go forward, is to see more sheets like that which show the collaboration, because at the end of the day, we're all serving the same people. And the more we work together collectively, the more people we can serve and the more impact that we can have. So I wish you all a happy holidays, and I thank you for including CMHA in this process.
Thank you, Jeff. We're now going to turn to some questions, if there are any. First, if there are media in the room, we will field questions, and we have a variety of people here who may be able to answer. Just because of the potential for technological glitches here, I'm going to repeat, for the benefit of anyone on the phone, any question that's asked. And then after we're done in the room, we'll turn to the phone, and I'll do likewise. So is there anyone in the room from the media who has a question? Yes, sir.
I'm Andrew Spies with Cleveland.com. I just wanted to ask, I don't know who the best person would be to address this, but I'm curious about how, it's pretty clear to me how the fundraising model for this is unique, but I wanted to ask what kind of impact the way that it's funded has on the actual program development and implementation itself.
Well, that may be...
It has really given us.
Could you come up here? You probably have to speak here to be heard.
I'm going to be channeling my Lauren Bacall voice for this. The unique funding structure has really given us an opportunity to, instead trying to fit services within the constraints of a budget, to really take a look at what we believe would work with this population. And so it allowed us to put together a continuum of services and to then say, this is the menu that we believe will best impact this social problem and have the best results, as opposed to, again, minimizing to be able to fit within the constraints of a grant. So it really gave us an opportunity that we haven't had before, to explore, to find the best, to reach out to higher learning institutions, University of Maryland, and to ask them to come in and to provide training to our staff, our Partnership for Family Success staff right back there. Shout out to you. But it really gave us much more of an opportunity to contemplate, how do we best serve this group that has this challenge, this severe challenge, in a way that promotes their success.
Could I add to that? Sure. I'd like to add one point to that, which is having a partner like Frontline develop a program gives you the unique opportunity to start by thinking about, how will we replicate this program in the future? What do we need to learn to, if we are successful, to then translate our success to a broader initiative, but also share it? Because so much of this program has been learned from other communities, and we are very interested to support learning beyond our boundaries. And one of our lessons that we learned is replication will most likely require just better use of local resources. And I think that's been a key point of ours, which is, where possible, we've always structured in that if there's a local program that we think we just need to do a better job coordinating with, let's call that out and let's find out a way to do that. And I think that's where having an organization like Frontline, who already has a relationship with DCFS, who already has a relationship with our Office of Homeless Services, and has relationships with agencies throughout this community, that they have that key position of knowing what exists, how we can better utilize those resources, and then to share that message.
David, can you tell me what the kind of the status is right now of this program, and kind of what the general timeline and outlook is?
Sure. The question was if I could address what the status of the program is and the general timeline. So the last the last funder to consider this program is doing so today, and we feel by all indications that things will go forward. And with that said, we have already reviewed all of the conditions in the contract that required us to pause and assess whether or not the pilot was producing the sort of early indications of success that we wanted to, and they're there. So we've made the decision to start January 1st. This program will be live in a couple weeks.
That concludes the event.
Thank you.
But not the work ahead, of course, nor the celebration, which is scheduled to begin at 2:30 at the Market Garden Brewery. Thank you all once again for coming. Thanks especially for your participation in this effort and all the work that has gone into it, and the work that yet lies ahead. Thank you again.